The town of Riverton had always been quiet. It was one of those small American towns where neighbors knew each other's names, and the streets emptied after sunset. People locked their doors more out of habit than out of fear. Nothing truly dark ever seemed to happen there, at least until the night of May 17th. That night, the silence of the town was broken by a smell. It started in the narrow hallway of a 3-story apartment building on Grant Street. The neighbors first noticed it late in the afternoon. At first, they thought it was a broken garbage pipe, or maybe a dead animal stuck in the ventilation. But the smell grew stronger by the hour, until even the walls seemed to carry it. Finally, Mrs. Howard from apartment 3B called the police. When officers arrived, they went door to door, trying to find the source. The smell came from apartment 2A, where a young man named Ethan Cole lived with his mother, Margaret. The door was locked, but no one answered the knocks. The officers called Ethan's name, and for a moment, they thought they heard a voice inside. Something muffled. Something strange. They forced the door open. The small apartment was in chaos. Papers littered the floor, chairs were overturned, and the curtains were drawn tight, keeping the evening light out. On the living room table were notebooks filled with drawings, symbols, circles, and words written again and again in shaky handwriting. Protect her. Cleanse her. Save her. In the bedroom they found Margaret Cole. She was lying on the bed, lifeless, with deep wounds across her chest. And in the corner of the room sat Ethan. He was crouched on the floor, his hands red, his eyes wide and hollow. He didn't try to run when the police entered. He didn't even look surprised. Instead, he whispered something, almost to himself. She's free now. I set her free. Ethan Cole was 22. By most accounts, he had always been a quiet boy. He studied art in high school, sometimes sketched in the park, and worked part-time at a grocery store downtown. His mother, Margaret, raised him alone after his father left when he was a child. But those who knew them well said things at home weren't easy. Margaret was strict, controlling. She rarely let Ethan spend time with friends. At the store, he often looked tired, distracted. And then, slowly, people noticed changes. He started talking about voices. He told a coworker that shadows followed him home at night. That he could see patterns in the cracks of the walls. That the world was full of signs only he could read. To strangers, it might have sounded like a young man with too much imagination. But in Ethan's notebooks, the story grew darker. He wrote about his mother being taken. He wrote about a force living inside her. He believed she was being used by something beyond human. His drawings were disturbing, faces split in half, dark eyes staring through walls, and always the same phrase repeated, "Save her before they come." On the night of May 17th, neighbors reported hearing noise from 2A. At around midnight, someone said they heard shouting, then silence. By morning, the smell began. What happened inside the apartment is known only from the scene left behind in Ethan's own words. He claimed that his mother had changed. That her eyes were no longer hers. That when she looked at him, it was like looking at something wearing her face. He told police that he tried to fight it. That he used a knife because they don't leave on their own. He believed he was saving her soul by destroying her body. The officers who arrested him said his voice was calm, almost detached. "You don't understand," he told them. "I didn't kill her. I killed what was inside her." In Riverton, the crime shook the town. People whispered in grocery aisles and coffee shops. Some said Ethan had always been strange, that it was only a matter of time. Others said Margaret was too hard on him, that maybe he had simply broken under the pressure. But a few, late at night, said something different. They said Ethan had looked into something real. That maybe he had seen something in the shadows of that apartment, something that drove him to do what he did. After all, hadn't the neighbors themselves felt uneasy sometimes walking past that door? Hadn't they heard whispers through the walls? Ethan was taken into custody without resistance. At his first hearing, he sat silent, staring at the floor. When the judge asked if he understood the charges, he smiled faintly. "You think I'm guilty," he said. "But when the time comes, you'll see I was only protecting her." The courtroom went cold as he spoke. Riverton would never be the same after that. The apartment building on Grant Street remained half-empty for months, tenants leaving one after another. They said they couldn't sleep at night. They said the smell was gone, but the feeling wasn't. Some swore they still heard footsteps in 2A, even though the door was locked and sealed. Others said they saw a shadow in the window at night, sometimes shaped like a woman, sometimes like a boy. And Ethan? He stayed in the county facility, waiting for trial. He filled notebook after notebook with the same drawings, the same circles, the same words: protect her. Cleanse her. Save her. When asked if he regretted anything, he shook his head. "You don't get it," he said softly. "I didn't lose her. She's right here. And they still want her back." Do you believe evil can hide behind the face of someone you love?